There's a movie that you've seen more than once, maybe more than 10 times. You know the line, you know exactly when to feel sad, when to laugh, when to hold your breath, even though you already know what happens. And here's what most people never stop to ask. Why that movie? Out of every film ever made, and there are hundreds of thousands of movies made every year, why does that one reach into your chest and grab something? Why that movie? The answer isn't about taste. It's about you. Welcome to Psychocinema Therapy. I'm Dwayne Walker, and today we're going to figure out what your favorite movie is actually telling you about your inner life. We're going to start out with what I call the mirror theory. Here's the premise that drives everything I do on this channel. A movie is a dream, but it's a dream that we all share. When a filmmaker makes a film, they're not just telling a story. They're externalizing something from inside themselves. Fears, desires, unresolved conflicts, things that they can't say out loud in regular life. And when you respond to that film, you're recognizing something. You're seeing your own interior life reflected back at you from the screen. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung called this projection. We see in the outside world what we're carrying around inside us, and nowhere is that more true than in the dark of a movie theater, or these days in the dark of your living room at midnight with your phone face down. But here's the part that most film analysis misses. It's not just what happens in a film that tells you something about yourself, it's which part of the film gets you. Two people can watch the exact same movie and walk away haunted by completely different scenes. One person can't stop thinking about the father who never said, "I love you." Another person is wrecked by the moment a character finally walks away from everything they knew. Same thing, same film, completely different psychological fingerprints. Your favorite movie isn't just a movie, it's a mirror. So let's break this down into what I call the 4 psychological catalogs of favorite films. These aren't genres. This is about what the film is doing for you at the unconscious level. Number 1, the escape film. Now you know this one. That's the movie that takes you completely out of your life. Fantasy, sci-fi, sweeping adventure. The further from reality, the better. Think Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, The Princess Bride. Now, the obvious read is, I just like to escape. But that's surface level. What are you escaping from? People whose favorite film was an escape film are often carrying a very heavy real life. Responsibility, obligation, a sense that the world they actually live in is too small for who they themselves feel themselves to be on the inside. The escape film isn't really about escapism. It's about a soul that's hungry for a life that feels mythic, for stakes that seem real, that feel real, for a world where things you do actually matter in some cosmic sense. If your favorite film is an escape film, the question it's asking you is, where in your real life have you stopped believing that what you do matters? The second film, the redemption film. This is the story of someone who did something wrong, made a mistake, or had something terrible done to them. But they were able to find their way back. Rocky, Good Will Hunting, The Shawshank Redemption. People who return to redemption films over and over again are usually carrying guilt or shame that they haven't fully processed. Sometimes it's something they did. Sometimes it's something that was done to them that they've mistakenly taken on as their own fault. The redemption film says, you can come back from this. Whoever you were, whatever happened, there is a version of this story where you're okay at the end. Now, if this is your film, the unconscious need it's meeting is forgiveness, either from someone else or, most likely, yourself. Now, that's the big one for a lot of people. Type 3, the transformation film. This is the movie where someone becomes a completely different person from who they were at the beginning. A caterpillar butterfly story. The ordinary person who becomes extraordinary. The Matrix, Whiplash, Legally Blonde, Billy Elliot. What's interesting about the transformation film is who watches it obsessively. It's almost never people who are already fully actualized and living their best life. It's people who know on some level that they can't quite articulate that who they are right now is not who they're supposed to be. That there's a version of themselves locked inside that hasn't been given permission to come out. The transformation film is basically your unconscious mind sending you a message on repeat. You've not arrived yet. Keep going. If this is you, what are you waiting for permission to become? Type number 4, the loss film. This one is the hardest to talk about, and it's the most revealing. These are the films about grief, about people and things we lose, about love that doesn't survive or endings that can't be undone. Schindler's List, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Toy Story 3. Yep, Toy Story 3. Don't look at me. People who are drawn most powerfully to lost films are usually sitting with a grief that they haven't had the space to fully feel. Our culture is spectacularly bad at making room for grief. We give people 3 days bereavement leave and expect them to be functional by Thursday. The lost film is one of the only places where we give ourselves permission to actually feel it. The film holds it for us. The character's grief becomes a container for our own grief. If this is your film type, then what have you lost or haven't fully mourned yet? Okay, now I want you to do something right now. Think of your favorite film, the one you'd be embarrassed to admit that you've seen 15 times, not the one that you tell people at dinner parties, the real ones. Got it? Now, which of those 4 film types does it fall into? And more importantly, does the question that that type of film asks land you somewhere real? Because here's what I found doing this work. People almost always know. The moment you ask the right question, something in the body responds. A tightness in the chest, a catch in the throat, a sudden desire to change the subject. The response? That's not nothing. That's your unconsciousness recognizing yourself. Jung said that everything unconscious gets projected outward. We see it in the people we're attracted to, in the enemies we make, and in the art that moves us. Your favorite movie didn't just choose you randomly. You chose it because it's carrying something for you. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. What about the films you shouldn't love? The ones that are objectively, critically, undeniably bad. And yet you watch them on sick days, wrapped in a blanket with an almost aggressive sense of comfort. I'm not going to name yours. You know what it is. Here's the psychological truth about the guilty pleasure films. It's often more revealing than the prestige pictures that you tell everyone is your favorite. The critically acclaimed film that you love says something about who you aspire to be. The trashy movie you watch alone at 2 a.m. says something about what you actually need. Bad movies, psychologically speaking, are often pure wish fulfillment. The underdog wins. The beautiful people get together. Justice is served without nuance or ambiguity. Good is good and bad is bad, and everybody gets what they deserve. That's not stupidity. That's your nervous system asking for a break from complexity. The question a guilty pleasure film asks is simply, what do you wish were simpler in your real life? And that, it turns out, is not a small question at all. We spend a lot of time talking about movies as entertainment, as art, as cultural artifacts. What we don't talk about enough is that they're also diagnostic tools. Not in the clinical sense. Not in a you need to see a professional sense, though, hey, that may not be a bad idea. But in the sense that the stories we return to, the scenes that break us open, the characters we can't stop thinking about, they're all pointing at something real, something that's ours, something that's asking to be looked at. Your favorite movie isn't just your favorite movie. It's a letter that you keep writing to yourself. In the next video, we're going to go deeper into what the villains you love say about the parts of yourself that you've locked in a basement somewhere. If that sounds like your kind of thing, then subscribe, because that's what we do here. I'm Dwayne Walker, and you have been watching Psycho Cinema Therapy Theater. And hey, drop your favorite film in the comments. I read every one, and I'll do my best to tell you what I see in it. Let's find out what you've been watching. I'm Dwayne Walker, and this is Psycho Cinema Therapy Theater. See you in the dark.